Gets away from Kante, plays down the line for Suarez. 98 team of the year, Suarez.
He's a big chance.
Ramos.
Suarez, what's he going to do? Tries to feed it back. Is that going to come to Ronaldo? Just trying to get a foot on that, maybe. Pull it now. The man that Bullock loves. Half turn there from Torres. Vieira back to Suarez on the finesse, and there we have it. The Bullock is in London. He turns around. He celebrates. The Bullock. He had a plan, and he's performed it.
You're listening to the FUT Champions podcast with Richard and Brandon. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the FUT Champs podcast. Week number 12 we're on now. We're back for another week, back for another podcast, and of course to round up the world of competitive FIFA. As always, next to me is that man, Richard Buckley, but he's not feeling too well today, are you, Richard? I know you normally say you're under the weather, but literally today, you're under the weather.
Oh, it's terrible, Brandon. I think I got ill on Sunday, and we're recording this on Wednesday. Hopefully by the time when this podcast does go live, I'll have recovered somewhat, but the internet's a fantastic place. We're currently, maybe 300 miles away, and we imagine to get this podcast recorded because we've got a very, very special guest in the building.
We have indeed, known as Matt Craig or Matthdgamer, a big face in the FIFA scene. Matt, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming out of your busy schedule to join us as well.
Oh, thanks, man. Anytime. I'm happy to be on the podcast. Should be good fun.
Should be indeed. And if anyone that doesn't know you, and I've said this before, I'll be surprised if they don't, you know, what kind of content and what do you kind of do in the FIFA scene?
Yeah, so I guess you could call me a FIFA YouTuber and probably football as well. Like I cover both, and yeah, any content on FIFA, I'm pretty much like up to date in it. And yeah, just anything on FIFA, I pretty much do on videos.
So first question, jumping straight into it.
Go for it.
I think I met you in Berlin last May.
Yes, yeah, that was nearly a year ago now. It's getting there.
Yeah, that's when me and Brandon first got like our commentary chance, and I just started talking to you. Obviously, I'd seen you through YouTube, but you didn't have a clue who I were. Very nice, humble guy. What was it like, the experience like? Was that your first competitive event that you've been to in FIFA? Yeah,
for FIFA, I've actually been to FIFA events in FIFA like 10, 11. But this was just off the scale. It was great to see organisation and just, I guess, FIFA on a big stage. And that event for me was actually one of the best events they've ever done, even up until now. Because lately they haven't been the same. For me, they haven't been as organised, it seems. But I'd say like, yeah, that event was a very interesting one, and seeing how the players react and seeing how the crowd was allowed to be behind the players, it was interesting. It was a lot different than, say, a normal sporting event. But I liked it. It was really enjoyable. It was good fun to see how it was run.
And also, that what I want to ask you as well is, you said, you know, you make a lot of FIFA content, and you have to admit, you'll probably say yourself, to bring out content every day that's different is a job in itself. But has, you know, this competitive scene that we've seen over the last few years really been pushed by EA, giving you maybe more of a platform to do different stuff?
Yeah, I'd say so. More so last year. For me, I played so many games of FUT Champs last year. It got like, I probably played too many. I played like, I think 2,500 games last year. So with that alone, that gave me, you know, pack rewards to open it. It gave me really good like gameplay to get, and it was it did definitely see a difference with content. You know, monthly rewards came about. This year's been not as great for me with FUT Champs, but still there's a lot of content to make about like competitive esport with FIFA.
And as a content creator, I want to like jump straight into like the FUT Champs model, you could say, because I know you've got some opinions on it. Let's start off with the rewards. What are your opinion on rewards? Do you think you get value for money for where you finish? Because I know a lot of people don't think you do.
I mean, I see Spencer open a lot of packs, as in Gorilla, and some of the packs he gets are just atrocious. I think they definitely need to introduce like a guaranteed kind of rating at least. So maybe an 86 plus team of the week in an ultimate pack at least. I think that you can't open ultimate pack and get like Thauvin from Marseille. So they need to update that. I think monthly rewards needs looking at as well. I think if they could have maybe, again, I guess a guaranteed rating at least, because I've seen some icons packed and you're getting Inzaghi. Like, I don't think many pros really want him. But I think they're going in the right direction. I just feel like, for me, it's got to be gameplay. I think you guys would agree gameplay is just not where it should be right now. But hopefully soon that can be changed. But yeah, I think monthly rewards could be looked at. But we'll see what they do.
Well, I know we talked about rewards a little bit there. And,
yeah,
we said about things that can be changed for them. Overall, as FIFA as an esport and the way that Ultimate Team has grown since 2009, we've said about how pathway, etc. At the same time, it is a positive move that you are getting rewarded for, giving up a lot of time and putting into the game without spending a penny as such as well.
Yeah, you can. It's great actually that you do get rewarded, because we all remember the days of even FIFA 14, FIFA 15. You would only have divisions. There were trade offers back then which were amazing, but that's for another day. But there wasn't much going on in terms of gameplay, and I think it's great that FUT Champions is here. I think they just need a bit of tweaking with some aspects, and it would be great. But it's strange. I was speaking to a lot of other YouTubers, and they were saying the same kind of thing as me. Like, even though there's more content than ever, it does feel sometimes that there's so much emphasis on pro players that it would be good if there was like another game mode, maybe a more chilled out game mode to kind of vary Ultimate Team a bit more. The main reason for that is the fact that not many of us are playing squad battles right now, and that was hyped up as a big game mode. FUT Draft is, for me, needs a big overhaul. So it's strange though. It's kind of like a double-edged sword in some kind of ways, but I do feel like they need to get more focus on the fun aspect of FIFA as well. Not a lot of it on competitive, but yeah, with rewards, it's they're great as long as you can get some good packs. It can be good fun.
And a point I brought this up in someone else did the other day, but Richard, he ranked it at 14th on squad battles right at the beginning of the year. Squad battles is such. Again, you said about for a casual player. I think it was a good idea, and at the beginning of the game, it really had that. I think it had a bit of a buzz about it.
Yeah, it did.
But as time went forward and stuff, went back to FUT Champions. We're going to invest a lot of time in FUT Champions, and this is a debate which Richard can come on to as well. Is there going to be a point in FIFA now, as the way that it's being pushed? Will there be such as I doubt there'll be a different game for an esport, but like maybe just a section in the game which is just for esport only, and then a player for casual players.
I think there's got to be something more for casual. Like, I mean, especially divisions. They have to improve divisions. I mean, for me, there's just not much point in terms of rewards. I get that FUT Champions is the one you want to play for, but the divisions, a lot of people play it. It's much more obviously a casual. It's still competitive, but it's much more casual. And I think if they could improve the rewards in that, and also improve the rewards of FUT Draft as well, which again is more casual, then I think that would go a long way. But I agree with squad battles, man. Like that, I was very hyped about it. But then after about 2 months, I was like, you know what, I'm not getting amazing pack rewards, and it's very hard to get top 100. And yeah, I think the hype just kind of slowed down after about 2-3 months for sure.
Well, if you look at the way that FUT Champions was introduced last year, it was introduced as the competitive game mode in the game. So I think a lot of people who say, like, I think there does need to be something else, because for the casual player who just goes on Ultimate Team maybe once a week,
interesting.
And if you haven't got time to play the 4 placement matches to get into FUT Champions, on your weekend when you've got free time, there's nothing really to do.
It is exactly that.
Everyone's playing FUT Champions on the weekend,
and that's probably one of the best points that you've made, man. Like the whole aspect of FUT Champions, like for the 9 to 5 average like person who works, or even if you go to school, weekends for all of us, the weekends are where we go out there. It's where we have like a good time. Whereas FUT Champions, it's so time consuming, and that's what I mean in terms of casual player. They just they haven't got the time to play FUT Champions, and squad battles was deemed as that casual mode, but even that takes a lot of time. I think it's 48 games, something like that, which is a long time as well. So they definitely need to look at it. I think divisions would be good if they can improve that. I also think if they had monthly rewards for squad battles, more people would play it. But yeah, I don't know. They need to have something else. I really want to see trade offers back. That's my big thing. But obviously, I have no idea how they could do it without getting coins back. Yeah. But there's got to be a way.
trade offers were pretty special back in the day.
They really were.
You used to be able to get some good deals on them.
I think in terms of trade offers, I think maybe you'd have to work it out properly, but maybe if they've got an approximate value of your trade offer, and maybe you can only send a trade offer to someone else's approximate value of that. So if I've got CR7, you can only send a trade offer. On the market, he's selling for, like, you could maybe even partner up with like FUTWiz, FUTBin. Like, it could be like trade offers brought to you by Futhead, FUTWiz, FUTBin, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then it tells me the average price. You can then only send a trade offer within 100k either way of that player. So if you've got team of the season Alexis Sanchez, team of the season Aubameyang, and I've got a CR7, maybe that like matches up, and I think, oh yeah, that's a good trade offer. But with the coin selling and everything, it's going to be very hard to go back to it after seeing how bad the market was when trade offers were a thing.
I mean, we forget how bad the markets were, especially in FIFA 15, 16. And I think they need something like that though, just to spice Ultimate Team up. But I think I've said this before. I'm not sure if it would work, and I do get this downside of this, but it sounds stupid, but it could potentially work. It's the fact that would there be a way where untradeable cards could actually be made, pretty much free cards, could they be made tradable? That way there'd be no coins involved, but at the same time, could people stock up in them and have accounts? So, I don't know. But it sounds weird, untradeable cards being tradable, but I can't think of any other kind of way to do it.
If you look at it, a lot of people who's got these untradeable cards, they're just stagnant in the club. Like, they've got nothing really to do with them. So, or maybe even if maybe they've got a discard price, like just so you can get something back from their untradeable cards. I don't know.
Or maybe a tradable card becomes untradeable once you traded it.
As you said, you know, about seasons, potentially like maybe a better reward each time, or every time you win it, the prize goes up, just because that's something for you to do in the week. And at the same time, you know, FUT Draft, I don't know what your point on that is, Matt, but for a pro scene, it gets played a lot at the beginning of the game, and it's just forgotten about.
It's true. I think divisions, that would be brilliant, just to have something else to, I guess, be motivating to try and achieve. And the big thing about FUT Champions that's cool is that you get these big rewards, and obviously every pack is so different from the last, and that's what's so different. It's like when you play PUBG, every new game, it's like you've never played it before because it's something different. They need rewards where every time you win a division, you don't just get 15,000 coins. They need it where it's just packs, because every pack is different. So that would be literally so much better. I think it would be great if they can, you know, go down that direction.
I know you guys have spoke about it in depth about, you know, updates and mechanics, etc. like that. Do you think there's a difference because obviously one, compared to other sports, other esports, sorry, FIFA's a sports game. You know, it is football at the end of the day, and you know, even if you have a Ronaldo that is a 99 rated, if he has 5 shots at a goal, sometimes he might not score. He might not score all 5. You know, he might score 3 out of 5 because it is football at the end of the day. Sometimes you hit the bar, sometimes you hit the post.
Yeah.
And as you said, Richard, as well, about, you know, when the updates come in and stuff, they don't say everything's going to happen. Do you think sometimes they can't say exactly what's going to happen because it is just football?
I guess so. I mean, obviously, you know, a bit like Willian last night in the Chelsea game, hit the post twice. It can happen. So they, you know, Ronaldo shouldn't be scoring every single time because that's just not realistic. Even though he is probably one of the best players ever to play football, but I think gameplay for me, it's strange. I think this year's gameplay, the fact that gameplay is just so poor right now. I mean, no one's enjoying it. It seems, and especially from the pro player aspect. I want to see a day on FIFA when people are actually praising gameplay, because right now it's just kind of it's pretty shocking to see what the state the gameplay is in. And I really do believe as well, looking back, if I was watching some like my old squad builders and watching some of Neps and Bateson's old squads, and the hype that was around those cheap squads was so great in FIFA 13, 14, 15, 16, and the reason for that, even last year, was because gameplay was actually okay. You could use cheap players and do amazing. This year, it feels like there's only, you know, Gabriel Jesus, Martial, Bakayoko. Other than that, there's not many cheap overpowered players. Silver cards aren't as crazy as they once were. So I think gameplay aspect, it's interesting seeing how if you do a video on like a best 20k team now, it wouldn't have the same hype because people aren't hyped to use the cards they get in packs in game. It's a strange feeling right now where FIFA's at.
I think one thing that resonated with me that Poacher said a little while ago, before I get onto that, the FIFA 13 Bateson 352, I will never forget that team. S1 and Royce up top.
Oh yeah, it's
were it the KSI killers?
Yeah, well, I remember Bateson using S1 like and loving his card. I mean, those cards. That's what I mean. That kind of hype. Where I remember there was a card. I think his name was Marlos from FIFA 11.
Yep.
Had the most incredible long shots I've ever seen, and that's why FIFA was, I guess, more arcadey back then. If that makes sense, it was more like an arcade game. It's so fast paced and just nuts, and that's what.
Well, Silvers. Like,
I know. Yeah.
If you use the silver team in FUT Champs now, you probably wouldn't even get like 20 wins. Like
it's true. I mean, it's weird. Last year, I actually did. I know Harry was ridiculous. I think he used a bronze team and got, was it 37 wins, something mad.
Yeah.
I managed to have a go and I got 25, which I was so proud of. And you could do it, but I don't know. I would actually like if they could have those kind of cards back, just to bring more hype to different cards, because so many squads now would just have icons in. They all have, like, you know, Pogba. They have, I don't know, Griezmann up top. It'd be cool to see more variation. So many cards just are used for SBCs and not used in game.
What we're gonna say, what Poacher said was, back in the day, like FIFA 11, FIFA 12, FIFA 13, only very recently, like, the defenders that you're playing against have changed. Like this year, if you're in FUT Champions, I'd probably say half, maybe even 6 out of 10 teams you come up against, you're gonna be facing a Rio Ferdinand. You're going to be facing a Jerome Boateng. Back in the day, you're facing a Mika Richards and a Nua. Like, they were you could say, like, the meta players. And they were, like, 76, 77 rated. So, you could get away with using the worser attackers because you were playing against worse defenders. This year, I think if you're playing against Rio Ferdinand, Maldini, Sergio Ramos, like, the amount of times I've come up against Sergio Ramos, Rio Ferdinand, Alexandro Valencia. Like, that's just the back four in FUT Champions.
It's
like,
true.
You're going to get punished for not using a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Gareth Bale.
It's true. I think. See, Gareth Bale is a card no one ever uses these days. It's quite rare you see him. Yeah, I think it's right. They need to have even just those cheap gold cards that would do crazy things. I know it can probably be annoying on the other end of that when you're conceding to Ahmed Musa every single game, but it's fun. That's what we need more back in FIFA, when a card is just ridiculous. I remember the start of the year, I did a video on like one of the most overpowered cards. I think it was Antonio, striker. And there was so much hype about that card, and he was great. He is great. But then, obviously a week later, probably a month later, everyone's got ridiculous teams, no one's going to use him. So, whereas old FIFAs, there was so much hype around those cards. I remember Michel Bastos in FIFA 10 was one of the best cards. Nene in form. Alex in form. There was so many ridiculous cards. So yeah, you're completely right, man. Like, they need more variation with squads. It's not the same as it was.
To flip that on the head, though, I feel like this year, this FIFA, as such, as Rich talks about the defenders there, as you said, you know, it's not going to be fun if you're conceding against San Antonio when you've got like a full icon back line. But I'd say more this year, and it is good to see that as well. Like, as you said in previous years, sometimes you could go and beat a full gold team, a bronze team, and you probably still could at some levels in this game. But I think at the same time, it is good that these icons that you are investing a lot of money into are undoubtedly a lot better than, you know, a basic 82 gold midfielder compared to an icon maybe Vieira. I do think as well that is good that it is clear that these players are, you know, on a completely different level.
They are, and I would still say now, if you've got a gold non-rare team and you're playing against the icon team, obviously the icon team should probably win. But if a pro player has that team with the non-rare players, they should probably be able to, you know, win if they've got that talent. So it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to judge that one. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when you play FIFA, we've all had this feeling when you know you're better than someone and they've got like an icon team, and it's just like, oh my god, this just not, this sucks. So it can be annoying. It's weird, but I don't know. It's a hard one to balance for EA. But I would like if they had more crazy cheap cards that could do awesome things like FIFA 14, like Julian Draxler. His non-rare card was unstoppable. Yeah. Those were good times. I think they'll improve that for next year. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, would you prefer to have those kind of old days back?
I think if FUT Champions was back in like FIFA 11, FIFA 12, you'd probably see a very similar model to what you're seeing now, like where you need a stacked team to do well, because like the only way that you could prove like that these Brasilvers were very good was in pretty much in one-on-one online single matches.
Yeah.
So like, and you're not going to be playing against competitive players in online single matches. Like, if you could take, I think as well, like the silvers this year are pretty much irrelevant in the game as a whole. Like, I don't think I've ever faced a silver team in seasons, like ever.
I think you're right. I've never seen one.
Like, the only reason silvers are useful is for SBCs. Like, you just don't face silver teams. Back in the day, even like the BPL silvers, like FIFA 13, FIFA 14, they were a thing. Like, they were good players. Like, Gabby Agbonlahor were like 80k at one point.
Cameron Jerome, those cards.
Yeah.
To link in with that, I know Matt said about, do we think, we want to see a change? What I like as well, hopefully we can see it going forward more in the competitive scene this year, is restrictions at tournaments, because we saw it a little bit at the FIWC Grand Final last year, and it wasn't a massive difference. It was just like 3 icons maximum, like certain rated players you weren't allowed more of, and it just added a bit of variety to the teams. And we saw, as you normally do, that the main position we see different in Ultimate Team this year is fullbacks, I'd say. But with this change, we saw different midfields, we saw different hybrids, different teams last year. I think that's something that I would 100% like to see again this year. But it's a debate that everyone could probably have for a long time. But another point that came in maybe last year as well, Matt, the squad battles, the SBCs. Have you enjoyed them?
Yeah, so SBCs for me is one of the best things about the game. I really enjoy it. I think they need to, I don't know, I feel like it's missing something, and I don't know why or what, but I definitely feel like SBCs again, they don't need an overhaul. I just feel like it'd be cool if we had a different cool thing, maybe not every day, but just more often. Team of the Week packs are so hype. Ones to watch packs are brilliant. It would have been cool to have like a crazy Team of the Year pack, SBC. I don't know. SBCs are so good, but they're good, but I feel like they need more things. I don't know what though. SBCs are definitely a tough one to judge. They've got a lot of content in there, and I just feel like they need to kind of diversify it more. But yeah, they need to more guaranteed packs. That's where the hype is. Marquee matchups is kind of cool, but again, it'd be cool to see more better rewards maybe for that. But yeah, I don't know. SBCs again, I think they could do being looked at. It'd be cool if maybe YouTubers had their own SBC, things like that, or whoever, celebrities, like anything. They need something else with SBCs. Just not really sure what.
So do you think they could do the same model that I'm not sure if many YouTubers have had it, but when, for example, the squad battles, the featured squad. David Myler's been on there, I'm pretty sure. Vitality Rocky, other people like that. Do you think they can maybe move that model onto SBCs a little bit then, and say, right, this is my squad, you need to build a kind of similar one to earn a certain pack?
I think it'd be cool. I think they just need more, I guess, creative content in terms of SBCs. SBCs is quite a. I think there's a lot they can do there. I just think they need to narrow it down. If they can have something different every day, and we know we get marquee matchups is on is that Thursday marquee matchups or Tuesday? They always get mixed up. Tuesday, yeah. 6 p.m. isn't it? Yeah, they're cool. I just feel like they need more things. I don't know. There's definitely. I really hope there's not only a World Cup mode. If there's not a World Cup mode this year, I'm gonna scream. I'm just gonna go crazy. But in Ultimate Team, they need to definitely get another game mode, because I think SBCs are the most, I guess, satisfied EA are with the game. I think they're fine. Just I don't know what they need updating in some kind of way.
And I know we're talking about some things that we could see improved or see some things different, but as an overhaul, you know, since Ultimate Team's come on in 2009, have you seen a progression with it and more ideas?
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you look back, FIFA 09 actually...
You had to pay for it.
Yeah, it's DLC. I think it was only... Well, it was you had to pay for it. It was £5. Which, to be fair, EA, you know, they were smart. I mean, people would pay for that. They brought it out. I think it was in like January. It wasn't at the start of the game. And I remember getting it on the first day, and it was like, wow, this seems mad. I've never seen anything like this before. It was so cool. And what I did love, and this is what I think could actually work, they had Ultimate Team in 09, right? And they had insane things in the game. So pack weight in that game was ridiculous. You could spend £50 and you'd probably pack most of the cards in the game. It was insane. But in game, they had something called like boosts in game, so you could actually use a boost like minus 15% speed of the opposing team in game. Wow. And it was mental. I think that as a game mode would be fascinating. I think that could be so cool now if they could actually do that, because it was like minus 20% shooting for like 10 minutes in game on FIFA. That kind of thing is what I'm talking about. Could actually really work well in this day and age Ultimate Team. Where we're missing something in Ultimate Team, I think, is that kind of fun aspect for the casual player. So, and that would be cool. Having those boosts again would be cool. But yeah, 09 was great, but it has progressed a lot. Back to the question, man. I think it's you know, looking now, Ultimate Team content-wise for YouTubers like myself or whoever, it's great. Although sometimes it feels like a lot of the time we're just waiting for Thursday for pack rewards. We're waiting for, you know, Team of the Week. There still needs to be a lot more in Ultimate Team, but when you look at it, there's so much more going on than FIFA 12, 13, 14. And it did need this in FIFA 17. We definitely did need something else. But yeah, it's progressed a lot.
And you spoke of the World Cup mode there. I'm going to get onto it. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best additions ever in Ultimate Team.
Yeah. Back
in 2014. How excited are you? If it does come.
I think it is coming. I do. I haven't had any confirmation from EA. I've done research on it, and there's a lot of leaks coming out about commentators, you know, commentating. Maybe you guys have commentating on the World Cup. You never know. But yeah, I would be beyond hyped. Like, that's what FIFA really needs right now. FIFA 14 was huge for that.
Do you think it? Sorry to interrupt, Matt. Do you think it?
Cool.
Back in the day, we're talking back to PlayStation 2s, you know, the original Xbox 360s and stuff. When we had a separate World Cup game, do you think that was? Do you think that's a bad move to make a separate game?
I really hope they don't
to make it into like the DLCs.
I would actually, you know, if they did both, that'd be fine. I wouldn't want them to bring out a new game and then not have Ultimate Team. The reason being is Ultimate Team is so big. When you think about it, really, who really plays head-to-head seasons anymore on a regular FIFA? You play kickoff with your mates, but at the same time, like, that game was so... Those games are amazing, and they're cool to play online, but if they just brought out a game, I'd probably be very gutted. And I can't see them doing it, though. FIFA 14 World Cup was the most players they've ever been on FIFA once. It was insane. So they have to do it, and especially the fact that you actually got rewarded for opening packs. I think you got a 5k pack every time you opened the pack. In Ultimate Team, they did. They've got to do pretty much the same thing, but then obviously make it better than the last one. So the hype was amazing for this game mode.
Well, if you are listening, you didn't get the chance to play the World Cup mode. We'll give a brief overview before we finish the podcast. It was every time you played a game, you got a free player, just any player in the Ultimate Team database on the World Cup mode. Chemistry was through continent, which I thought were remarkable. I thought that was actually going to come into FIFA 15 as part of the chemistry system. When you actually won the World Cup, if you did go on to win it, you got 60,000 coins.
Yes,
I believe.
I think it may have been less, but I think it was more than Division 1 winning. I think it was more.
It was worthwhile winning. And I think you got 5 packs.
Yeah.
5 7.5k packs. So, like, the game was just unbelievable. And, like, it wasn't easy, but if you played the game a lot, you could get, like, the best players. And also, the players that you had in your team ranked with how their World Cup went. So, for example, I believe Lionel Messi had an unbelievable World Cup that year. Got up to a 98, and then if you had Messi in your team on the World Cup mode, he would then go up to a 98. So pretty much you're getting to play with Team of the Year Messi.
Yeah.
To kind of close this podcast up, going like one more avenue before we close. Let's get into. Let's just talk about the competitive scene. You know, who have you enjoyed watching, Matt? Other than maybe not the big names, who else have you enjoyed mainly last year, and who have you liked that's came onto the scene this year?
In terms of pro players, or
in terms of pro players.
I mean, obviously, DH Tex is that kid is just ridiculous to win when he's 16 years old. He puts us all to shame for our FIFA ability. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm good friends with Harry, so I always want to see him do well, and Tass obviously as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think in terms of next year, it's interesting seeing a lot of players change clubs, and I want to see how everyone does when I want to see how Tass does. Joining FaZe, leaving hashtag. I want to see how my man Mike does, Mike LaBelle. So it'll be interesting to see how they all do. Hopefully, I just want the best for everyone. So hopefully everyone can have a good year in the pro scene.
And you have watched the event from home, and you've watched it live at the venue.
Yes.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer watching it live? Or
I really enjoy watching live. Just seeing that kind of level of playing FIFA up close. I think the final of Berlin was a big one for me. When was it Rocky beat Shells in the last second? Yeah. Seeing the shock right there was something else. When I think Shells there was, I think there was some input delay, or he didn't. I think it was one of the two. He didn't clear it as well. But yeah, seeing it up close was amazing. Seeing it on cameras, on streams, great, as long as the stream has gone to plan. I feel like EA needs to up the game with the production value of esports. If they can get to that value that CS:GO gets at, then which you guys love to be part of, then it will be amazing. But yeah, it's great to watch on stream as well.
Do you think it was very clever as well with the reward system they used for the streaming? Because
yes and no. It's great to see. Sorry to interrupt. It's great to see great people getting literally icons. But I mean, it's not fair when someone has watched the whole stream or kept their laptop on the whole weekend and they don't get anything. If they can just give you, I don't know, mega pack for watching the whole stream, or just something, because it's not fair for people who don't get rewarded for watching the whole stream. Then they're on to a winner. I think they need to look at that though.
Well, I think that kind of concludes week 12 of the FUT Champs podcast. It's been a different one as we expect, and it's good that we're getting these influencers in as well, such as Matt. We've had Chewboy on as well, that can talk about the game in a different perspective. It's a shame that Colin wasn't from Rona wasn't here this week. He has been missed again. Hopefully he'll be back. First of all, Matt, cheers for coming on again.
Oh, that's cool, man. I really appreciate it. It was it was good fun.
I think what was good as well this week, Richard, as well, that we've looked at maybe, I've said it already, a different landscape of the game, or a different insight of the game around the competitive scene. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we're trying to hit FIFA from every angle, really. We'd love to get a developer on from EA, or someone who works on the game, to get their perspective on the game as well. So the FUT Champs podcast will be rolling on next week. Hopefully I'll be better.
Hopefully it will be, mate. But if you have enjoyed the podcast, be sure to drop it a like if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe, or if you're listening on Mixcloud or all other audio platforms. Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to go and drop us a follow on Twitter at FUTChampsPod. If you want to get involved with the show, it's the hashtag FUTChampsPod as well. Big thank you again to Matt as well. Richard, obviously my co-host, and myself, Brandon Smith. It's been a pleasure hosting again, and we'll catch you next week for another podcast. Good luck this weekend on your weekend league. Hope it all goes well, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
If you like what you're hearing, why not subscribe? Just go to @FUT Champions Pod on Twitter, drop a follow, and then you'll find all your subscription options in the pinned tweet. Oh, and also, while I've got you, why not check out this podcast, More Casual Older Brother, the FUT Weekly podcast, for in-depth reviews, Team of the Week rundown, content chat, and general FUT discussion.